watch it regardless.
You talked about how our system is a debt-based system, and our money is really debt, right? And so our whole system is built off debt. So if we don't continue to increase the debt, then it falls apart. But our money is a debt-based system compared to what? What other money system is there?
Well, there are different forms of money in the economy. So I created a video once called 6 Forms of Money. One of them, the government do actually create non-debt-based money. It's called cash and coins. So the notes and cash in your pocket is not created as debt. It's simply created and sold to a bank when they need to. So if essentially when you print a note, it costs about 3 cents to be created by the Royal Mint or whoever it is in which country you're in. And if it was, say, a $10 note, there'd be $9.97 margin, and it's sold to a bank. And that profit of $9.97 reduces the amount of tax that one needs to pay. It's called seigniorage. And about 3% of the money supply is created debt-free by governments. It's added to Treasury's balance sheet, and it's a form of income. But the rest of the money, 97% of it, was outsourced to the private banking sector. And so the private banking sector, they create a digital currency every time they issue a loan. And it's a digital representation of the government's debt-free currency. So the cash and coins is a debt-free currency. And anything in your online banking is all a digital currency that's created by the private banking sector and backed by debt. If you rewind into history, you had things like in the American Civil War, Abraham Lincoln actually created a greenback, which was a debt-free money supply, and it funded the American Civil War. And so throughout history, there's never been, this absolute conclusion that money has to be created as debt. And in fact, if anyone was to engineer a financial system from scratch, nobody would come up with that solution. It actually was just through decades and decades of reforms, it actually turned into the financial system we have today. And many people confuse this. They think that debt's the problem. Debt in itself is not the problem. The problem is creating money as debt, which is the problem. So once you've got a money supply, you can use debt as a very legitimate instrument for people that want to put together borrowers and savers, like peer-to-peer lending or collateralized loans like we see in the crypto markets. But when you give someone simultaneously the ability to create new money every time they issue a loan, you end up in a Ponzi scheme where debt is required in order to have an economy. So there's these different schools of thoughts around monetary systems. Some people believe that you need to regulate how much digital currency a bank can create through Austrian economics and the gold standard. I go a step further, that I think you shouldn't allow banks to create money rather than using gold to regulate how much money they create.